expressed by the hosts of this podcast are for entertainment purposes only. I repeat, it is not serious. It is not real. None of it. No one is exposing, revealing, indicting, or telling you anything about themselves. Also, we do not encourage you to try this at home. We are trained professionals who do not have your best interests at heart, or our own. Enjoy the show.
And we are very opinionated because we are live, Joel Solo.
No, we're live right now.
Yeah, we just went live.
Oh, Dragzfire, just sneak it in there. Why? By the way, Joel, we're live.
We are live, Joel. All right, well, I guess the audience is going to want to know a little bit about ourselves and how we got to this point. I don't know if you want to take the floor for that one.
Oh, man, that's exactly what I was going to say. Take the floor. All right, so I will start. I'm going to look at my camera over here. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to our podcast. We are two handsome, slightly washed up individuals. Oh, sorry, wait. I am Joel. Let me see. If we're going to talk mainly about gaming behind the streams, I think is the title of this podcast. I'm going to go with, I started gaming way back in the 80s, and I could cover all that, but I'm not going to do that. Fast forward to maybe like late 90s, I started really getting into gaming because of Halo. I would say would probably be my number one. And then, the rest is history, as they say. Then I fell into a love of gaming, but now I'm in my 40s. I don't know. You're not supposed to talk about age. I don't give a shit.
Whoa, Joel. Took it too far with that one.
Oh, man.
Age is nothing but a number, right?
TJ, is there a problem with talking about your age on like social media and stuff like that nowadays? Is that a thing?
No, I just feel like people are, especially when it comes to gaming, they're super weird about it.
They're very guarded about that.
They feel like if you've hit like mid-30s and you're gaming, there's something wrong with you.
Yeah, no, that's a real thing. I hope you talk about that one day. So getting into it, that's where I am now in my 40s. Everybody looks at me like, dude, what are you doing? You're a gamer. You're in your 40s. Why don't you grow up? I was going to throw, I don't know. Are we like, can I throw the F-bomb?
Yeah.
Grow the fuck up.
I like where you're going with this, because this goes back to what we talked about before, where like gaming, there is no age. Like for some, and you can agree, this is like a safe place, like a release, like where you go to kind of avoid all the noise and what's going on in the world. That's how it's always been for me.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. Yeah, and it's like a disconnect from reality, right? Like you get to go somewhere, you get to tune out for a little while. You get to, whether you're playing a campaign or you're getting told a story, or whether you're just mixed up in a PvP online or something like that, you just get to forget about all the noise. But a lot of people don't see it like that. They just see it as a huge waste of time. I'm derailing here. Wait a minute. We'll get back to that topic eventually one day, I'm sure. So now I'm here. You and I have where our history goes back far, but then closely. What is that? That doesn't make sense. We've known each other for a long time in a very super.
I think this was meant to be. I don't know how, but some of the convos we'd have, I was like, I feel like I need to mention to him that I've attempted a podcast before.
Yeah,
it was just me by myself, like just talking, which is really hard to do.
Yeah, no, you don't want to do that because you're only mildly entertaining, TJ.
Well, the other thing too is like when you're by yourself, there's no one to like have that balance. So pretty much what it seems like is you're just kind of hating the whole time. Like you're just shitting on whatever you're talking about because there's no one to kind of reel you back in.
And then also, I think a lot of times I've tried it too, where you're kind of just trying to fill the void, right? You're like, oh, all right, I got to keep it going, got to keep saying stuff. And then you're like, I'm just rambling for a while, which is kind of what I'm doing right now. So to finish it up, we started working together at an undisclosed location in an ice box, let's call it. And then this developed somewhere we were like, well, you're a gamer and I'm a gamer. You're a wildly famous YouTuber, and I have streamed one time in my life. And we were like, why don't we start a podcast? Because everybody else does. And then we were like, brilliant. That's how we're going to make it famous. And so now that's where I am. I'm here in my pole barn on a Friday, just dodging all kinds of work that I should be doing. And I'm here with you, chatting it up. By the way, just to go back to the whole age being a number thing, today is, and you didn't know, today is my 45th birthday.
Holy shit.
Boom.
Well, happy birthday, Joel
Holy,
Solo. After
that's
I
the whole
edit
reason.
this, we'll probably throw in some cheers and all that kind of stuff. Some
If you could do
confetti.
the one from Halo 3, I think it was, when you would shoot the grunts in the head and their head would explode and it was like a party thing. It was a skull that you could turn on. I don't know if you remember that, but you'd like headshot and their head would explode and like party dust would fly everywhere. And I'd be like, yeah, it's like a little
I could
celebration.
probably find a little transparent PNG of that.
Oh God, I love PNG.
Yeah, some of the funniest videos I've seen.
You got so quiet.
I had to think about it. I was like, oh man, because I do have a love for it too.
What's that, gaming or Halo or what?
No, the PNGs, like the
I don't
transparent,
know.
like those things that you add into a video, like those little.
I did. I didn't even know what a PNG was. I just thought it sounded a lot like pussy and gaming or something like. I don't know. All right, so TJ, give us a little bit of your background with your not your literal background, not the Xbox sign and everything.
I don't know why, but sometime before, like my daughter was born, I wanted to do like a gaming channel. Well, actually, I'm not even new to this. I don't even know if you know this, but before my daughter was born, I actually had a channel before this one. It was Mr. Review 302, and it was like I would. You're gonna
Wait,
laugh at
what?
this one.
No, go for it.
So
I
I
love it.
would order, let's say, certain items from China that were may or may not have been legit, but I would also
Black
have
market.
the real versions of them, and I would compare the two. And you know what? Fuck it, Joel. They were They were shoes. They were Jordans. They were Nikes.
Oh,
I was
there he goes.
ordering them in
Finally,
bulk,
TJ, I'm
and
getting you to open up already. This is therapy right on the radio, man.
so they were replica versus real like reviews. So basically I would like show the replica, put it up to the real one and show people why this one's only $70 and why this one's like 250.
Right.
Well, unfortunately, someone at Nike didn't like that.
Oh, really? Shut you down?
Yeah, they shut the whole channel down. But I had a
No way,
backup.
really?
Yeah. Like,
Dude, TJ, you just got so much cooler to me. Am I allowed to say your name? Am I allowed to say that? I don't know. I
well,
already
no,
did
the
it once
worst
already.
part was being stuck with all these fake shoes. Like I had to go on eBay and like try to just dump them off, and then you also can't put replica on eBay, even in the description. Like you cannot put that it's a replica sneaker.
Huh.
Yeah, it
Man.
was just odd. But I had another backup channel just in case, because there was like other channels that I was following at the time that were like bigger than me that were getting shut down, and they were saying, during the reviews, have a backup channel in case, shit hits the fan. So I had one, and then I booted this one up. Didn't use it, and then my daughter was born. Got super sidetracked, as you know how it goes.
What's that? Getting sidetracked with kids? No, I have
With
no
a
idea what you're
newborn.
talking about.
Yeah, you wouldn't know about that.
No.
Yeah, so I got sidetracked with that, and then once she started like going back to school, well, actually not going back to school. When she started school, then I had that little bit of freedom in the morning, and it's kind of, you wouldn't even know this either. So a lot of my earlier videos when I first started the Apex Legends one,
Mm-hmm.
this
Which is a
the,
great game, by the way. We'll get to that. Or maybe
this
it's not now. I don't know. You have not a wonderful taste in
yeah
your mouth with that.
yeah. I mean, no. I've been thinking about it. It's just it'd be a lot to take back in. Like I can't just hop in and like, do you know how many questions I would ask like before we even like load into a game? Like
You
from
know
who
what
the
we should
fuck
do
is she?
sometime?
Who the
We should
fuck is this
play.
guy? What is that thing? Like there's so many things. Guns probably.
Why is this now heavy ammo instead of light? Why is this one
Hold on.
sniper instead of
This gun
yeah?
takes heavy and light. What in the fuck
Wait,
is
what?
going on here?
How do I change that?
Like it's just I know these things, but I haven't experienced them firsthand. I've watched videos and I'm seeing all these things. And I'm like, wow, this game's changed a lot.
TJ, the only constant in life is change, right?
Yeah, but it was so good.
You don't want
Seasons,
to hear it.
yeah, 1 through 5. I mean, yeah, that is kind of how life is. But certain things you should probably leave alone.
Yeah, man. When it ain't broke, don't fix it, or however that goes.
Yeah, they were like, well, it ain't broke, so we're just gonna keep regurgitating skins and change the
Mm.
colors on them and do events that nobody fucking likes.
Regurgitate reminds me
Some
of
of
a
the other things. Oh, remember I told you there was like an Xbox issue where there'd be like lag on the controller. Like so
yeah.
arenas, like so me and my buddy, he's probably gonna watch this.
Hey,
He
buddy.
took some time off of work, and we locked in for like 5 months straight, just streaming Apex Legends every single day.
God,
And we
sounds like a dream.
Yeah, and we played arenas ranked, and we played battle royal ranked, and like somewhere in between some massive update they had, there was like some kind of glitch with Xbox where like there was ridiculous input lag on the controllers where like you do something on the controller,
Right.
delayed probably like 2 seconds, which
Oh,
people that don't game are probably like, well, what's the issue?
2 seconds, big deal.
Pretty big issue. Like when you're playing like arenas for one, where it's like it's real fast pace. There's no hiding really in arenas. I like arenas because it's like us versus you. You ain't escaping. Like there's nowhere to go on the map. Like you're in that little box basically. And yeah, and that was kind of the. How do you say?
You're watching
Joel,
me wave to the camera there. Did I just distract you with that?
nah, the
I
straw
just
that
felt like I was
broke.
sitting here not doing or saying anything, so I just wanted to chime in. Sorry, I cut you off, man.
No,
I
you're fine.
distracted you. Please go.
But yeah, probably the straw that broke the camel's back, as they say, was the input lag issue. And then Loba, her ring was broken. Like
Yeah,
you'd be in the middle
she's
of a gunfight and you go to throw it and like you wouldn't move. So you just,
yeah.
your
That's it.
opponents are like, look at this fucking clown just sitting here. Like,
What's that clown doing?
why'd he stop running? Well, I was trying
Why
to
is
throw
it?
my bracelet, but it doesn't
Why's
fucking
that guy
work.
got such a thick booty?
Damn, she got a little dumper on her.
Dumper nickel.
Little dumper nickel bread.
I
Oh,
love
here's
it.
another one we came up with. A 7.5 on the Thichter scale. And you got to roll the TH. Thichter scale. I came up with that one the other night. So
That's good. Was that when you were just working, wasting time?
just watching football, getting paid. This is what I was going to tell you. So this is something you probably don't know. So like my earlier videos, we call this starting a channel on a budget. So I would legit play Apex Legends, stream it to Twitch through my Xbox, and then I
Right.
would go back in through my phone and screen record the gameplay, and then chop it up in the iMovie editor on my phone, and then I
That
would upload
probably
it.
looks so good.
I sense a bit of sarcasm there.
TJ, you're not just a pretty face, man. You got it.
I mean, now looking back at it, I actually was like going through my old videos. I'm like, man, these look fucking terrible. Like I didn't have a mic or like a camera, so like even the gameplay had like text. Like so you'd be like in a tight situation. It's like, what do I do now? The text would like pop up on the screen. I'm like,
Hey,
how did this
listen.
video even get 100 views on it?
I got to applaud you for that, though, because I think we were talking about this, maybe even yesterday. I was alluding to it about, this is a lot of people talk about this in today's world about being a perfectionist. And I know you are to a degree for sure. And I've had that problem for a long time. And I think I learned that that'll stop me from doing everything. So, like, just the fact that you did that without, like, I'm not going to say without giving a shit, but without wanting it to be perfect or knowing that it had to be perfect or being like, all right, the bar should be higher than this, but you were just like, hey, you know what? Fuck it. I'm going to do this. This is something I want to do. That there's really something to that, which I think a lot of people could really use or learn in their life is if you can just start doing something you like without hesitation of being like, oh man, I need this camera or I need this microphone. Or how many times I go online, I'm like, oh, me and TJ are going to start this podcast and I need a better mic and I need a better camera and I should get another computer and a monitor. Like, what am I talking about?
I feel like
Well, it
as
goes
long as
back to
like there's content worth watching, they don't care what
Right.
the other. I mean, but it is appealing to the eyes. Like me having to look at the silver
Hey,
fox
thanks,
right
man.
now. Like this is just.
There you go. Yeah,
I knew we'd get
45,
here.
baby.
I knew we'd get here.
Yep. I knew we'd get here to talk about all the handsomeness is overwhelming in this lobby. What are we called right
I
now?
don't
Are we
even know
called?
what this is called.
This isn't a lobby. This is it. We're in it. We're in the meat and potato, the showroom. We're on the showroom floor right now.
But kind of back to what we were saying the other day when
Go
we
for
had
it.
talked. So it wasn't even being like a perfectionist. It was more like this thing where it's like as the days are counting down and going by, and you're just like sitting and playing games, you're like, man, like that was a really cool highlight. Wish I could share it with somebody.
I think, like for me, where I am, it's definitely a thing where it's like you've wanted to do something for a certain period of time, and then you didn't do it because of the stuff that I was talking about. Eventually, like the fear of not doing it at all kind of starts to outweigh the fear of putting something out there that's not perfect, and that's kind of where I am now. Is like, and I hope that other people can get to is just hopefully they don't ever have to get there, but I've spent so many times being like, oh man, I really want to do this. I really want to do this. I really want to do this. And then a day goes by, a week goes by, a month goes by, a year goes by. And you're like, there's a expression that me and a couple of my buddies use all the time for anything we're thinking of doing. It's, the best time to, it's talked about trees, but the best time to plant a tree is 20 years ago. The second best time to plant a tree is right now, today, because it's like, you can always look back and say, oh man, it would have been great if I would have started this podcast, this YouTube channel, this whatever 10 years ago. That's not always the reality. You didn't do it. So the only other best time is right now. So just, punch fear in the face or whatever that guy says, and you just go for it.
Well, I think a lot of people don't really understand like how like hard this kind of stuff is. Like just any of it, like the editing of the gameplay, like even setting something like this up, like there's just a lot of, to make it look the way you really want it to look, like a lot of effort, and they don't want to hear this, but you gotta put some money into it also. Like if you want it to have it on a stage where it does kind of look like you're legit and you're in the game,
right,
you're gonna have to spend a little bit of money. But if you're like that serious about it, should be no problem. You know what I mean?
Sure. Well, I think that's everything, right? It depends on how serious you're going to take it, and that's kind of knowing who you are and what you want in life. I think is kind of realizing, like, is this something, we talk about this all the time? Is it just a hobby? Is it something that I really want to do? And that's just reflecting inside, right? Like, what do I really want? What am I really looking for?
I think the other thing was I was trying to have like shortcuts, trying to make content where it was like, I talked to people that were like bigger than me, and they're all like, oh man, one thing you got to get a capture card and this and that. And I'm like, I don't need a capture card. What do I need that for? And like, then you realize, like, after you get the capture card, you're like, okay, well, this makes 100% sense now. Like, so much easier than like ripping gameplay footage off of Twitch through your phone. And
sure. Oh yeah.
Same thing. Like, just as I slowly progressed, like, just decided, hey, let's get a microphone, let's get a camera. Like if I'll even link it up here. My first video compared to
please
where
link
we're
that
at right now, I think it's
I want to see that.
It's highlights and epic fails, Apex Legends. So it's like the good and the bad, and some of the thumbnails are not pretty either. But I don't even know what I was using for thumbnails back then. Like, it was dark days. Everything was on my phone, because I didn't even have my laptop then.
Right.
I was legit doing everything on an iPhone, like thumbnails, editing videos.
But you know what? That's like, you got to start there, right? So that, going back to it exactly, there's a streamer friend that I have that I was asking about some advice, because I'm always, like, oh, hey, I want it to be, when I started seeing some progress and shooting up, I was like, all right, here's what I want to do. I really want to make this polished, perfect, everything I want it to be. So I came up with this whole plan, and having a plan is a great thing, unless the plan stops you from following the plan, because like you estimate, you over plan, you're thinking about the final destination, not the little steps it takes to get to, where, and that's what happened. So then I was like, all right, know exactly what I want. Had this backdrop, had everything, went out, bought hundreds of dollars of materials to make these really cool looking, backdrops and everything, had it all planned out to make it look like the bridge of the ship, like whatever. And it stopped me. And the whole point of what I was going to say, talking to that one streamer friend, she was like, there's a beauty in just starting something with the iPhone, with the whatever, and then seeing the natural growth of getting better and getting that organic traction that you get from feeling like you're doing something, then starting out with everything. Because if you start out with everything, it's like, where do you go from there? Like you're already there. Like
Kind
let's
of
just
feel like
kind of
that's how
maintain.
my buddy was. Remember I told you I had a buddy that would stream on Facebook,
Yeah.
and like before he even started, he like,
Oh yeah, you told me. Yeah, that's right.
had,
Yeah, go
the
for it.
top headset, the,
Right.
you know, top PC with the best gaming card in it. And I think it was one of those things where it's like I'm wondering if he thought he hit the ground running and then realized like you still have to build the audience. Like it doesn't really
Right.
matter that you have this colossal setup to start. Like if nobody knows who you are, there's like the audience still isn't there, regardless of
Yeah.
what your videos look like and stuff.
It's like, oh, it just dropped $5,000 for what feels like absolutely nothing. Or if you start at the bottom, like we're doing right now, starting at the bottom, and then
Now
you
we're
work
here.
your way up, and everybody's like, hey, have you ever seen those two handsome guys that don't know what they're talking about online? We should watch those guys again.
Oh, we're just getting started, Joel. Like
Just getting started, man.
this is the introduction. This is like really almost PG in a sense. Like
This
it's
is the
gonna get ramped
beginning
up. Yeah, it's
of a
gonna get
great
ramped up.
thing. Oh man, you got to think like a epic Avengers level. Like I'm taking out Thanos, or you are. You're probably. I don't know. You know what I mean? Like
When we get into
that's where we're
stupid
going with this.
news and some of these
Oh,
conspiracy theories.
God, I love them. God, I want to. You get me down that rabbit hole.
Like I
Thanks
haven't
for.
watched anything lately on that kind of stuff, but I've had a few queued up from a certain channel that we like, and they look
Mm-hmm.
pretty interesting.
Yeah.
And then I saw someone like the other day online. I forget what. Oh, you know what it was? It was that girl that the one that, remember the one that was on the plane that said she saw something. It was one of those again.
That
Where I'm like,
motherfucker back there is not real.
well, she
That,
had a
that
follow
girl.
up video to it, like basically saying, what she encountered. But I was like reading the
I was high as
comments.
fuck.
Someone said she was drunk and someone took her iPod headphones and that's why she went off like that. But anyways, I was reading the comments and then I start seeing the stupid shit again.
Right.
Like I saw someone was like, you're gonna crack up at this one, but this is kind of
Please
where
tell
the
me.
conspiracy thing's gonna go. This guy's like, he's like, why do you think they asked you to turn your phones off on whatever date it was a few weeks ago? They got something big planned and they don't want anyone dialed into it. And I'm like, this guy cannot be fucking serious. And I start reading the replies to that. And there's people in there talking about, remember I told you about that little creek or whatever that dried up and there's all these tunnels now where people think angels are going to come out of them and
What? Are you sure you told me about that? Last thing I remember you telling me about was the lizard people in the Colorado airport. And that was fantastic. That was the best thing I've ever heard in my life.
no, this was a newer one. I feel like I told you about the rapture people that this
Oh,
river
yeah.
dried up.
Yeah.
Well, this
Yeah.
was a
Yeah.
more recent one where this guy brought it up, but he somehow tied that into. Remember when we had to turn our phones off for the alert a few weeks ago? That's what I'm getting at.
Oh, so
Remember the
yeah, yes
iPhone?
and no. Yeah, but you know what? I don't watch the news or I don't
Well,
pay
no, I'm
attention
saying,
to anybody.
did you turn your
I didn't
phone
turn
off?
my phone off.
Did
Nope.
it go? So I turned mine off like an hour before because I wasn't trying to deal with it. But anyways, the guy was basically saying that this is like some kind of distraction. They're gonna be over here, and what's gonna really go down is over here.
I
I'm like,
mean, but
he
that
could
kind
be
of makes
onto
sense,
something.
right? Like all of that, all of the conspiracy theories make sense to some degree. Like it, and that's why I think people grab onto it is because it's like, all right, well, that could be a possibility.
But
I think we talked
rivers
about
drying up and angels coming out of tunnels, and
it doesn't sound much different than anything that happened in the Bible, I would have to say.
that's a good point. I don't. Yeah, it's another thing. It is kind of odd that people believe in this stuff from the old days, but if you mention it now, you'd be like,
That can't be true.
yeah, this guy's a fucking quack. What's he talking
Yeah.
about?
What a weirdo. Did you ever watch Moon Knight? Moon Knight, the Marvel series Moon Knight, based off the Marvel comic book Moon Knight.
No.
Bro, you got to watch that. So I used to really be. This is kind of like it's not really in this same realm, but it's a lot about like Egyptian lore about how Egyptians had they weren't monotheistic. They didn't believe in one god. They were polytheistic. They believed in the god of like Ra, god of sun, clouds, whatever, like underworld, like everything.
Mm-hmm.
So it's about that, and it's a fucking great show, man. I really think you should watch it. I was Moon Knight. I was impressed. I thought it was going to be
the trailer. Is the guy in like a dark blue kind of suit?
Now he's in like a grayish white suit. Yeah, you should check it out, and so should everybody else that's listening. All of the listeners out there, the millions of listeners we got, they should all check it out.
Joel with the shameless plug for a movie that doesn't give a crap about us.
Yeah. No, that's the thing, man. I will, if I like it and believe in it, I'm going to talk about it. I don't give a shit whether or not I'm hoping one day somebody's like, hey, by the way, Joel,
Is it a show or a movie?
It's on Disney Plus. Here's the thing that I didn't realize, that I think a lot of stuff from my youth, I kind of maybe like blocked out of my head. So when you get older, right, you start getting into routines and you start doing shit and you're like, oh, I'm so lame, because you kind of give up on a lot of stuff that you liked before, right? I think about this a lot. Like when I was a kid, I very intuitively knew what I liked, right? And when I get older, it's harder to do that, because when you have life and stuff, and then people are telling you like, oh, you got to only like certain things. Like, for instance, here we go, you're a sports guy. I'm not. Like, I feel a very like sense of not embarrassment, but kind of like being a grown man that doesn't watch sports. I was like, what the fuck is wrong with that guy, right? So
Now, if
it's
you hadn't mentioned that, this audience would have never believed you. You definitely look like a sports guy.
yeah, and I mean, I don't know whether or not there's something totally wrong with me for sure, as far as that goes. Like there's something wrong in my brain, I think. Do you believe in like astrology?
I'm kind of on the fence about it. I feel like the signs kind of don't mean anything. But then again, I've seen things where like I'll see Pisces and I'll read the characteristics. I'm like, it's
Well,
kind of me.
it's pretty spot on, right? So that's the thing with me. Like growing up, I was always like, societal or familial things, that like traits that you get from your family, from the people you're around, your environment, like whoever you grow up with, hang out with, whatever. They're like, oh, astrology is lame, or it's completely for people read into it what they want, and I believe that for a long time. I'm not going to say that I still do. It's just, I think we were talking about this one time when we were working together. I was saying how like lately I'm like, well, why don't I believe in that? And I'm trying to like open my mind up at this later, almost halfway point in life where if I'm halfway there. If I'm making it a 90, I'm really fucking lucky. But I guess the thing is like, I just started thinking, I read like my horoscope the other day, and sorry, that's why I was trying to turn this off. And I read this thing that was like, it was all about October and how you behave. And oh man, I was blown away. It was like I had written out the month, like trying to plan out the month on what I was going to get accomplished.
Mm-hmm.
And I watched this video about what's going to happen in October on YouTube. And I was just like, how the fuck could this be so accurate? It's insane. 2 days before, previous to that, I wrote everything down that I thought I was going to get done.
Mm-hmm.
And then I watched this video that somehow randomly came across, fortuitously or whatever. It came across my feed. Watch it. I'm not into that stuff. It's not something I watch. So the fact that it even showed up would be totally outside of what I normally watch. I was blown away. I was like, so the whole point of that is like, I'm trying to be, what I'm trying to not be, TJ, is that like, you can't teach an old dog new tricks kind of thing. I don't want to be that guy that's like,
well, for one,
is not,
you're a silver fox, so that would not apply to you in any way, shape, or form.
TJ, I think you are officially a dummy at this point. I don't know if anybody is. No, just joking. Hey, thanks for that compliment. I'll take it. I'm getting pretty silver. It's not a thing I'm fighting though. I'm embracing it, baby.
You're gonna love the intro when you see your guy with the Grim Reaper sickle over his shoulder, and me in the white shirt for some reason. I don't know why.
Just a plain white tee.
No, it's like it looks like a business shirt, but like I yanked the tie off.
It's like collared.
Yeah, got the sleeves rolled up.
Well, that's you, man. You're just all business all the time, TJ.
I couldn't even tell you the last time I've worn an actual suit though. I think I could pull it off, but
I think you should.
Should I wear one for the podcast? You know, I actually was looking on
Absolutely.
Amazon for you're going to laugh at this, a tinfoil hat. There's actually like a hat I'm going to put on for our conspiracy corner.
Yes, we should do that. We should also have suited for Sundays or something like that. We should have now I was gonna say mustache Monday, but I'm definitely not gonna shave my beard. I did that once in college and regretted it for like a month. So yeah, we should come up with those clever things that get, like fan engagement. Be like, oh man, it's Sunday, they're gonna be in suits. They look like D-bags.
Hey, if the shoe fucking fits, or if the suit fits.
If the suit
wear
fits, TJ, you got to wear it, bud.
Fucking wear it.
I want you in a 3-piece pinstripe, just like straight, like baller.
I kind of want the Lloyd Christmas Dumb and Dumber with the fucking hat and the cane to go with it.
Oh man, that's exactly. I think
We
that's
get the matching. One had orange, the other had like baby blue, right?
Yeah, one was like creamsicle and one was like powder blue. That is exactly what we should do. You got to have that like frilly ascot coming out. Yeah, the repeater.
That gun is so terrible.
No, I
You
love
like
it.
that gun?
Oh no, it's horrible, and that's why I love it. But man, when you hit somebody with that thing, it knocks hard.
I used to love trolling people with fucking Lifeline and just being like, Mozambique here. I got a fucking rampage.
I do like just schooling people with a P2020, like right from the start, because it feels like it should be the worst gun in the game, and then you're just like pop, 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 and then
It's really
you're
not
like,
that bad though.
No, it's fantastic.
It's pretty solid. Like once you aim it, it's kind of locked in.
Yeah, it doesn't bounce around a lot. Very stable. I love it, and it's got a super fast rate of fire for a pistol, semi-auto pistol. If you hammer down on the trigger, man, it really lets loose.
But I told you mine, like favorite pistol, the RE45. Like it's
RE45,
R99, but in the palm of your hand. Like that thing
it's
fucking
like
melts.
Yeah, it rips pretty hard. Did you ever watch? I can't bring myself to do it. My buddy, my best friend, tells me it's like his guilty pleasure. All the Fast and Furious movies. You watch those?
I stopped around 6, I believe.
17.
It's like what, 10 now? 11?
I don't know, man. How many times can you tell a story about guys driving cars fast? Like, is there more to it than that? I just can't bring myself.
No,
to
I think
watch
it went from legit like just street racing and like making money to now this ridiculous like action movie kind of thing.
Like they're saving the world from exploding.
Yeah.
Yeah. God, man, I should start watching them. It's like the expense. I want to go through
a race for pink slips for cars, and now you got fucking Vin Diesel jumping off bridges and landing on helicopters.
Jason Momoa with a nuclear bomb on his shoulder, and then we were watching the scene. I was watching him like shoot pistols out of a car going like 150 miles an hour at another car that was also going 150 miles an hour, and they were landing like every shot. And I'm like, with my experience with shooting guns, I was like, that's fucking impossible. And he was like, oh, but this is so real. Watch this. And I was like, I can't. I checked out. I've literally seen like that 5 minutes scene, and then that was it.
Yeah, you're pretty much not missing anything. They're all the same. It's just
I'm gonna watch.
What can we top? The last movie with that's super fucking ridiculous that no one's gonna.
Yeah,
believe.
Totally. Like in your face stuff you want to see. Like in my shorts feed and YouTube, it's a bunch of gymnast girls bouncing around in tight outfits and tight bodies. I went there. That's right. That's right.
And
hey,
with that, we
wife.
are pretty much nearing the end of this. Joel has a flight to catch.
Yeah.
Business
out
meeting.
of the country, because yeah, my wife's gonna listen to that and be like, "What? I've never been on your YouTube. Let me jump on there real quick."
I mean, she'd have to endure this to the end to actually find this hidden gem. So.
Oh yeah, she would never make it past the first 5 minutes. She would be like, "Oh, you're starting another podcast? Really? All right, fella."
So where are the other ones at? Where can our listeners and viewers find them?
That's a great question. There's actually, I don't know that you'll be able to find them. I'm hoping that they're erased. No, they're out there somewhere.
They're on works, Joel.
They're on like a cloud, like a stream cloud, or
it's almost being like, hey, click the link in the description, but don't actually watch it because I'm not a fan of that particular video I'm recommending.
Yeah, I made that, and I don't want you to sit through that. No, I'll look up some information about it and see if I can bring it to light. No, you know what? That's the past. We're just gonna leave that. We're gonna let it die, and we're only gonna look to the future here, TJ. It's only right now and the future. Past doesn't even exist.
And we're pretty much out of time, so we will
Yeah.
see this audience on the next one.